Imagine waiting years for the next big entry in one of the most legendary strategy game franchises of all time, only to have it drop with a UI disaster, questionable gameplay changes, and a community that is absolutely losing its mind. Civilization 7 should have been the glorious next step for the franchise, but instead, we've got a complete mess on our hands. Steam reviews are plummeting, players are rioting, and Firaxis? Well, they're scrambling to fix it. So what the hell happened? Let's break down the disaster that is Civilization 7. Hey, what's up everyone, Pixelated Quest here. If you're enjoying the video, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and drop a comment with your thoughts. Let me know what you think about Civilization 7. Alright, let's rewind a bit. Civilization 7 was officially released yesterday, but for a solid week before that, pre-order users had early access to the game. Fans were hyped. The last mainline entry, Civilization 6, had its fair share of ups and downs, but the potential for a fresh, modernized Civilization game? That had people excited. The trailers looked polished, the new mechanics sounded ambitious, and people were ready to conquer the world once again. Fast forward to launch day, and boom! The hype train derailed, crashed and burned in a fiery explosion of disappointment. Steam reviews dropping below 50%. Here are some of them. Game is not finished, base game is overpriced, DLCs are overpriced, wait for the game to be 50% off. The UI and the UX of this game is a total disaster, whoever designed this should be fired. They can easily detect these flaws if they playtest for 30 minutes, but they do nothing and ask us to do what they should have done. The game is obviously unfinished, yet they still launch it at this price. I'm very disappointed about this company. Twitter or X, a war zone. Firaxis, suddenly on damage control. But what exactly went wrong? Let's break it down. First, let's talk about the number one issue. The UI. Look, Civilization has never been known for having the sleekest interface, but this? It's like trying to navigate a fast food menu with a blindfold on. Buttons are in weird places, crucial information is buried under layers of unnecessary clicks, and for some reason it feels like the whole thing was designed with consoles in mind rather than PC. Players immediately noticed how clunky the interface was, and it didn't take long for someone to call out Firaxis for what seemed like an attempt to prioritize console-friendly UI at the cost of PC players. And here's the kicker, the community fixed it before Firaxis could. A modder named Sukradact released a UI overhaul mod days after launch, making the game significantly more playable. The mod is available on Civ Fanatics with a link in the description of this video. Like, how does a single modder outdo an entire dev team? But hey, Firaxis heard the outrage and promised UI fixes in upcoming patches. On February 10th, one day before the official release of Civilization 7, Firaxis released the 1.0.1 patch addressing some of the major issues, well, at least attempting but failing. Now, let's talk about Civilization 6. When it dropped, it shook things up. New districts, new governments, and a map that actually made you think about your placements more than ever. Sure, it wasn't perfect, AI was questionable and the game took some time to refine. But it was a step forward. The community rallied, the mods rolled in, and Firaxis actually listened, turning Civilization 6 into the game we all know and love. Now take Civilization 7. Players were expecting a true evolution, right? A bold leap forward, building on the foundation laid by Civilization 6. But instead, we got a game that feels like it's been hit with the Ctrl+Z button. It's as if Firaxis decided to start fresh, but forgot to take the good stuff from the last game with them. Instead of fixing the glaring issues from Civilization 6, it feels like they introduced more problems. And the new Aegis system, it's divided the community, making things feel like a weird science experiment rather than the grand strategy epic we expected. So while Civilization 6 had its flaws, it kept the core of what made it great. But Civilization 7? It's like Firaxis took a step back into the unknown, and now the game is a shell of what it could have been. Now let's talk about the big gameplay shakeups. The Aegis system was supposed to revolutionize the way players experience history, but instead it got the community divided. Some love it, saying it adds a new layer of strategy. Others, not so much. They say it disrupts the classic Civilization formula, making the game feel less like a civilization and more like a weird experiment. On Reddit, players have been debating whether this system adds depth or just frustration. Some argue that it forces unnecessary micromanagement, while others believe it creates awkward pacing in the game. But when you have hardcore Civ veterans saying this doesn't feel like a civilization anymore, you know there's a problem. Oh, and don't even get me started on the bugs. Performance issues, weird AI behavior, and of course the classic Firaxis special: inconsistent diplomacy. Because what's a civilization game without an AI that either wants to be your best friend or randomly declares war on you for no reason? So what's Firaxis saying about all of this? Well, to their credit, they acknowledged the criticism and promised updates, with one released on the 10th of February as mentioned before. They also got a patch lined up for March that aims to fix the UI issues, improve AI behavior and fine-tune diplomacy. But here's the real question: is it too late? With so many negative first impressions, some players have already refunded the game, while others are just waiting for the community mods to fix it. Will Firaxis be able to turn things around, or is Civilization 7 doomed to be remembered as one of the biggest flops in the franchise? It's also worth pointing out that this isn't the first time Firaxis has stumbled. Remember Civilization 6 launch? The AI was a joke, key features felt underdeveloped, and it took years for expansions to get the game to where fans wanted it. Could Civilization 7 follow the same path? Maybe, but do fans really want to wait that long? Some sources claim that a more radical version of the game was developed in early 2022, but was ultimately scrapped after internal pushback. If true, this could mean Firaxis was scrambling to piece together what we have now, which would explain a lot. So what's next for Civilization 7? Firaxis could turn things around, but it's gonna take a lot of effort and goodwill from the community. The upcoming patches might fix some of the biggest issues, but unless the devs listen to player feedback and actually implement meaningful changes, the damage might already be done. At the end of the day, Civilization 7 is at a crossroads. It's got potential, but it also got problems. The devs could fix it, but whether they will or whether they'll even be able to regain the community's trust is another story. What do you think? Is Civilization 7 a disaster, or do you believe Firaxis can save it? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more gaming news and reviews. Until next time, keep conquering those empires and try not to let the AI betray you. Congratulations to the winners of this giveaway, listed here. Send me an email to claim your Steam key. If you also want to participate in the next giveaway, which will be in the next video I release, simply subscribe to my channel. I will be picking 5 random subscribers with each video releasing. Have a wonderful day.